history, humanity has been drawn to the unknown. Are these merely legends and folklore? Or could they be clues to mysteries we have yet to understand? Join us as we search for answers where science, history, and the supernatural meet. This is Creepy Chronicles.
Hey, everybody, we're back.
Hey.
It's Lauren and Dan, the Radicals.
Yes,
And
with Creepy Chronicles.
The second episode.
Yes. So we have a really wonderful guest tonight. His name is John Kozik. He is the owner, curator of the Salem Witch Board Museum in Salem, Massachusetts.
And Baltimore.
Oh, and Baltimore. That's right. And so we did a little thing on about John's obsession and everything with collecting and researching Ouija boards. It actually started when he inherited his grandmother's board in the late 1900s. 1990s. Excuse me.
1900s.
It was the 1900s, yes. He was surprised to discover that Ouija was simply one specific brand of talking board, and that they date much further back than the Ouija of Parker Brothers fame.
Yeah.
So throughout years of dedication, John is now one of the most knowledgeable people on the subject. In 2013, he became the founding member of the Talking Board Historical Society. It's a group that researches and preserves the history of talking boards.
And they are amazing.
Oh my goodness, yes. So fast forward to 2019, John opened the doors of the Salem Witch Board Museum in Salem, Massachusetts, to the public. And it's the only museum dedicated to the history and the lore of talking boards, and boasting the largest collection of boards, obscure memorabilia,
Got it.
and ephemera under one roof.
Yeah. If you've ever been, it's amazing. We just went, was last month?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've been many times, and every time we go, there's something new.
Which is very dangerous for Danny.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When we do, actually, Ouija is so ingrained into what we do. Like when we start off a presentation, when we do a live presentation in front of people, I always start off and I ask everyone, the audience, so tell me, does anyone here have a fear of the alphabet? And they all look at me like I'm totally crazy. And then I pick up one of these and I say, how about now? And then you can see them all go, oh, no. Because, it's the dreaded Ouija.
Yes.
So let's bring him on. John Kozik.
John.
Hey. Good to see you both. Been
Great
so long.
It's been a while. How you been?
I'm doing great. It's great to see your faces, as always. And thank you so much for having me here.
Oh, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for, yes.
It means a lot.
Yes, it does.
I love the intro. What a great intro to the show.
Oh, thank you. Well,
and one of the last pictures of that video is Elijah Bond's grave.
Yes. The headstone in Baltimore.
Can
you tell us a little bit about Elijah Bond?
Yeah. So that headstone you had up, that belongs to Elijah. He's the person who actually patented the Ouija board. And sadly, he was buried without a headstone being put in for him. And so before the Talking Board Historical Society existed, it was just collectors that were obsessed with the board and some of the history. And our friend Murch found out that Bond didn't have a headstone put in. We thought it was really sad. And so he helped really fundraise to get money to put that in for him, and became the most popular cemetery, but most popular headstone in Greenmount Cemetery. Oh, yeah. And that's really the spark to, hey, wait a minute. I guess other people are into this kind of stuff too. We should kind of keep going with it. And that's really how the Talking Board Historical Society formed, was all from the Elijah Bond headstone there.
That's cool. It was, we took a ride out there.
Yeah.
It is a sketchy neighborhood.
But the cemetery is beautiful. I mean, the neighborhood,
The
But
thing
that
is,
almost adds to the beauty of the cemetery.
yes, it's like an oasis. The
Oh, yeah.
minute you walk, you go through the gates, it's just like a totally different world.
Yes.
And it's just so easy to find the stone, even though there's a map that tells you. It was like, well, it's the only Ouija board right there. Okay, all right.
Yes.
It
That
kind of
was-
reminds me of the cemetery from The Warriors, one of my favorite movies from the 70s.
It's
Is
almost the same neighborhood.
they're in a very lush, nice, beautiful cemetery. But when your eyes go up to the skyline, you're like, oh, okay, this is definitely not. You realize that you're not there very often.
Yeah, there was crime choppers going overhead
Oh, yeah.
and everything, and it was amazing. But again, we were in this oasis, and it was just,
Yep.
it was so cool. I mean, there was this to see the work that you guys have done, and it was just like, wow, yeah, amazing, great job, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. So, Lauren, anything?
So I have a quick question.
Sure.
We know that you got into collecting because you inherited your grandmother's board,
Mhm.
and she used it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She used it a lot. Yeah, it hangs in the museum, and it's pretty well worn. It's probably the most well-worn board in the museum.
Wow.
But no joke, she flew on the thing and could yell out letters and numbers quicker than anyone could write down what she was saying. So yeah, she had a very strong connection to the board. She learned how from her grandmother. So around the late 1920s, spiritualism she learned in that time frame.
Oh, wow.
That's wild. Back when it was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't as demonized as it is nowadays.
Not at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if I ever told you this, but like my mother used the Ouija when she was 12. It didn't work like it did for my grandmother. It was a little slower, but she used it when she was 12 with her girlfriend Linda and my grandmother, and the board accurately predicted both of their future husbands' names.
Oh my God, that's wild.
Lawrence and Dennis.
Wow.
Linda married Dennis like 12 or 15 years later. My mother, her second husband, 30 years later, she married Larry. So,
That's wild.
yeah, the Ouija board's definitely ingrained with my family's history.
I guess so.
Amazing. So, what can you tell us a little bit about the history of the talking boards? Because a lot of people there's like 5 different theories out there, or people, you see these things floating around, and we know you've got the info.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah. I think most people, they're familiar with Parker Brothers, and so they might just tend to think that this is a game that came out through them. But no, it's really a little bit older than that. The Civil War, where everybody was affected by death from the war.
Yeah.
Everyone was trying to communicate with who they lost, and that's how this starts to evolve. And people might be familiar with the Fox sisters, who are these sisters just outside of Rochester in 1848. They make a claim that they're communicating with spirits. They hear knocking responses back to them. Well, through them, other people start making the same claim, and it evolves from asking spirits yes and no questions to wait for a knock or two, to eventually trying to count knocks to figure out what letter of the alphabet it might correspond with, to eventually an alphabet board where they can ask a spirit a question, and with their finger, they can just point to the alphabet and wait for a knock from the spirit, start spelling out messages. It's a very long conversation to do that. And so to speed it up a little bit quicker, they use an automatic writing planchette. So there's one behind me, but to most people, it looks like a planchette you would see with a Ouija today, but then it had a pencil at the front and wheels in the back. And it worked by somebody channeling a spirit through themselves, writing or drawing on a piece of paper, whatever came through. And so that comes from the spiritualist movement in Europe, where they're doing table tipping, seances, pendulum, tarot. And it comes to America, mid-1800s, cross paths with the alphabet board. So really no inventor. There's like these 2 separate spirit communication tools that are crossing paths, merging, and evolving. And so they're homemade for a number of years after that, until finally a guy named Charles Kennard in Baltimore, along with Elijah Bond there with the headstone, they produced the first commercially available talking board, and they just called it a witch board, a very generic name. A few months later, a woman named Helen Peters, she asked the board what it wanted to be called, and it spelled back Ouija. So Ouija becomes the first mass-produced board, and that's in 1890.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I know a lot of people seem to think that Ouija, yes, no, kind of, and it's like it named itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. So the Helen Peters story, where she asked it what it wanted to be called, is spelled back Ouija. She asked, what does it mean? It's spelled back good luck.
Good luck.
That is the real true history.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Helen, being a woman around the turn of the century, she was written out of history, and the Talking Board Historical Society only rediscovered the story 12 years ago.
Wow.
So
wow.
in that time where she's written out of history, you'll start seeing that it's, we just German and French for yes, yes, or even Egyptian for good luck. And that's really just part of the marketing to Ouija, is that they want people to think they're older, something more worldly than something made in Baltimore. But the board naming itself, Helen, and really only rediscovered 12 years ago.
That's awesome. Wow. See, you guys don't stop when it comes to rediscovering history and digging stuff up and then passing it on and preserving it.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yeah. For the Helen stuff, it was great because, again, when we find that we didn't go looking for her information, but as Murch was researching, he found these letters, and they talk about a mystery woman. They didn't name her by name. And so he really went down a rabbit hole for about 6 years, trying to figure out who she was, using Ancestry, using census records, all these things. And then funny enough, at the end of it, she's also buried in an unmarked grave. We knew where she was, but their names weren't added to the headstone. And so it was a no-brainer for the Talking Board Historical Society to raise money to put a headstone in for her. She's buried out in Denver, Colorado, with her husband, Ernest, and their names weren't added. So maybe in 2018. Oh, there's Murch right there.
Yeah.
Can you tell us who Murch is? We know who he is, but nobody else, our people don't. Who's Murch?
He's the good-looking guy.
So who is Bob? What is his history? What is his relation to you and everything that you guys do?
So he really is the world expert when it comes to all things Ouija. He's been obsessed with these things for over 30 years at this point, and really it's been his life work, so to speak, to want to uncover as much history as he can about them. And he's my best friend. He's certainly a mentor to me. He's a guy that really inspired me, and fuels my passion for Ouija boards. It's very infectious being around him and the love that he has for these things. He's got an amazing collection. He's been able to lend things over the years, but he's really the guy that goes down the rabbit hole to uncover the stories. I'm the cheerleader on the side, and when he uncovers the stories and he figures it out, I'm like, yeah, we did it. But he's the guy right there.
Seriously though, you guys are a great team. The whole Talking Board Historical Society is an amazing team, and wow.
we all bring something a little bit different to the table. There's 5 directors right now all across the United States, and people like Karen Dahlman. She uses the board, and she's really my go-to person when people have questions about using the board and concerns they might have. Rick Schreck, who is the vice president, he's down in New Jersey, and he's a tattoo artist that was just obsessed with Ouija boards, believing that they could open portals. And so he built the world's largest Ouija board, Ouijazilla, a couple years ago.
Good.
Calvin, another mutual friend of ours from Connecticut, great tattoo artist. He's a skeptic, but he wants to believe, of course. And so amazing collection, amazing talent as well. So I like that we all kind of have different backgrounds, and we all kind of come with the same passion.
Ouijazilla.
There it is.
The thing is, this is, I don't know if people understand this, but this is an aerial shot down from a drone. This thing was huge.
It's massive.
It was in the park in Salem.
Yes.
And the world's largest Ouija board. I mean, it was amazing.
Yes. We actually took a trip to actually be able to see it, and it was pretty amazing.
Yeah. I
mean,
there's a lot.
It was only up in Salem on display for roughly 30 hours. It took Rick about 1.5 years to build this. So to give you a little scale, you kind of see a few people there around it, but it was 99 sheets of plywood, and each sheet was 4 feet by 8 feet, weighed 70 pounds. And that planchette is actually 15 feet across, 400 pounds. Yeah. So,
you can actually get into the eye of the planchette and everything. It's amazing work. I mean, unbelievable. And I remember like this was like before COVID, and I remember people saying, "Oh, look what happened! They brought the Ouija board to Salem, and COVID happened."
So sad. That day was such a magical day of people really just being enthusiastic about what had happened and seeing this thing, and there was really no negative comments or interactions at all in Salem. And I left thinking like, this is amazing. There's not a lot of people I knew that are like super into Ouija boards, and to see people, most people are afraid of them or whatever, and to see like such a great reaction.
Yeah.
And then a couple months later, COVID hits, and then the meme comes up, and it's people build stuff like this, and this is what causes COVID, and a big Cthulhu behind the board, a meme of that. And I was like, that's pretty funny that in person everyone loved it, but online, I guess that's the negative people.
Yeah.
We got there. We were doing an event that day, but we got there as they were starting to pull the. So we got to see real quickly. Karen was there, and Calvin.
Yeah, Karen and Calvin, and
they're,
it was
packing it up for the night kind of deal. And it was just, I mean, the picture doesn't do it justice.
No, it doesn't.
It was, and again, Salem. There we go.
Yep.
Awesome. And then, like you had mentioned, Calvin's a skeptic. I myself, skeptical, but I've played with it many times, and it's said things that, I asked it, I was a teenager. I was like, when am I going to die? I went right to the question, and it started to move, and everyone jumped back, and I was like, no, you guys stopped. I wanted to know. Oh, well.
Actually, I did use a Ouija board inside when it wasn't the Witch Board Museum. It was like the Harry Potter thing in the background.
Oh, yeah.
I was with a friend of mine, and it was with John Zaffis, and we were using the board, and it started to spell my name, and then got stuck on the board, and then it just went off the board, and I said, okay, yeah, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah, that was the original Salem Con.
Yep, the original Salem Con. Yep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and we've used them here at the house a few times.
Here
but
and there. Yeah.
Nothing. We use them on investigations sometimes, depending on where we were and if the client was okay with it. So.
Yeah, and like when we do investigations, we try to explain to people, it is spiritual communication. So it's the same as like an EVP, or it's the same kind of stuff. It's just a different medium, different form of using it. So there's no reason, if you're going to be afraid of this one, then you need to be afraid of them all.
Yes, 100%. I agree.
So, John, we do have a question. It says, are talking boards primarily a North American phenomenon?
They are. It doesn't catch on in other countries like it does here. Probably by World War II, I would dare to say there's 50 to 75 different manufacturers in the United States making these boards. And if we went to Europe in the same time frame, I think we'd be lucky to find 3 manufacturers making boards. And I think part of the reason it's not popular in Europe is that's where the spiritual movement starts. Like I said, table tipping, seances, pendulum. So I think they kind of treat it as like the new kid on the block, and it doesn't catch on there. In the museum, I do have quite a few boards from other countries, including like Russia and Finland, UK, Spain, France, Italy. But a lot of the boards I have tend to be the 1970s or newer. And so for me, when I think about it, it more than likely is because of The Exorcist. That movie is the biggest movie to ever put a Ouija board in it, and everyone in the world saw it. So, after that movie, there might have been a manufacturer or two in Italy that said, hey, I guess we can try to do that too. Yes, Australia definitely has a Ouija board. I have one in the museum. They licensed it, when Parker Brothers had it in 66, they licensed it down to, Dunlop. Yeah, I think it was Dunlop. And they advertised it by saying, from the makers of Monopoly comes Ouija. So that's how it was advertised in Australia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, there's just so many boards in the museum that every time we go, I find something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I changed things through since I last saw you like a month ago.
So
I already changed it out, a couple more posters. I was able to get a 13 ghost poster, an exorcist poster with the Ouija board in the image. And so I just changed those things out yesterday, I think. So yeah, always moving stuff around.
You have to.
It's never the same experience every time we go. It's just
never.
Awesome.
Never. So since we're on that topic, I know that, as we know, because we go there every time we're in Salem, you have a multitude of rare boards in the museum.
Yep.
Which board is the rarest, and which board is your all-time favorite?
Okay. Well, it's kind of hard to say for the rare boards because, to put it in perspective to most people, Ouija is the brand we know.
Right.
Mhm.
Nobody knows the Mystic board, the Astral, they don't know these knockoff brands. So, they're pretty rare in that sense because they couldn't compete against Ouija, or when the war ended, people didn't really care about these so much. So in the first case, I have the 1890 board. That's pre-Ouija, and that's one of 5 known to exist.
Wow.
Mhm.
But in the same case, I have a board called the Throne from 1893, and that would infringe on the patent that Ouija got, which protected it for 16 years against any competition. And so that's a rare board because it's one of only 3 known. In the museum, I actually have quite a few boards that are like the only one known, or certainly less than 10. But if you walk through the museum with me and I started pointing out the numbers that I know, of these these boards that we've kind of kept track of for the last 25 years or so, after a while you'd be like, okay, John, I get it. This is all pretty rare in the museum. But there are a few one and only boards that I do have. But it's in perspective, because something from the 40s that's the only one known, is that really rarer than something from 1893 where there are 3 known, and that infringed on the patent, as opposed to sales. So they're all pretty rare. As far as my favorite board goes, it's a metal board I talk about called the Electric Mystifying Oracle.
Oh yeah.
And it's a beautiful, large, almost like Art Deco looking board. And the planchette that came with it was metal. It had a battery and a light bulb inside of it. And on the board are a few little bumps, so the planchette would pass over, and it would make the planchette light up.
That's awesome.
And so it's a rare board because they came out in 1933, which was the Great Depression, and they tried to sell it for $5, whereas a regular Ouija board was about $1.50. And so because it flopped, no one had that kind of money. They scrapped them for the war effort. And today, I think we're up to 9 boards and 5 planchettes to still exist.
Really?
Yeah. Great story about that is Murch. He actually got to meet Hubert Fuld, who was the president of Ouija back in 1933, and he met him on his deathbed. He was on hospice care, and Murch went to go meet him, brought the mystifying oracle, the electric mystifying oracle, with him, handed it to him. Hubert was lying in bed. He took it, smiled, and handed the board right back. He was like, I never want to see that again. He hadn't seen the board in pretty close to 70 years, but he was reminded that he almost ruined the family business. And he said the failure was justified. He shouldn't have messed with the success of the Ouija. So even in 1933, they had 3 factories in Baltimore producing boards. So really, anytime uncertainty, people turn to these, not just, death.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Jeez.
Well, we all know what Danny's favorite board is.
My favorite board is right up there.
Yes.
The Mantic, the blue Mantic there. Oh, love that board. What can you tell us about the Mantic?
Oh, so, that's made in 1974 in Glendale, California. And funny enough, it's made by a psychic research group out there. But one of those people involved with the group was Geraldine Saunders. And she was a person who in the 70s wrote a book called The Love Boats, which became the TV show The Love Boat. And she passed away a couple of years ago, but there's been a few estate sales in California, and some of those boards have popped up. And I ended up going out to Burbank and buying a dozen of them off a guy. But Geraldine Saunders really has a great, fascinating life. I suggest anyone look it up, because she was married to Sidney Omar, who was an astrologist to the stars. She was engaged to a guy named John Decker, a B-movie actor who's in Hercules versus the Cyclops and great B films. But the crazy story is that she found him hanging dead in the shower. He was bound and gagged, hypodermic needles in his arms, all this derogatory stuff written in red lipstick all over his body, and the police ruled it a suicide. But yeah, so she passed away fairly recently, and some of these boards came out, and so pretty amazing that, you know, it's a beautiful board. I love the size of it. It's 24 inches round, and it's got a double alphabet on it. So when you're sitting across from someone, the alphabet's not always upside down to the person. And so yeah, just a really great design board to use.
Yeah.
So very unique to see that round, the circle boards, you know.
And then right next to it, you have
What's that?
Pazuzu.
Oh, Pazuzu, yeah. Yeah, one of my favorite boards. It's just, I love the story behind it. And it's like, we walked into the museum, and I turned my head. It was over the door, and I was like, what? Oh my God, that's just amazing. I knew they were like hard to come by. They were kind of rare. So I was like, I can't leave without it.
And like I say every time,
Yeah.
if it has to do with the museum or if it has to do with the Ouija boards,
Get it.
get it.
No
Yeah.
questions.
You learn, you know, the longer you collect, you realize that, like, hey, if I've collected this long and I haven't seen something before,
Yeah.
it's probably worth risking grabbing it, because
Yeah. Without
you
a
know,
doubt.
I've
Yeah.
missed out on things 15 plus years ago, and they've never come up for sale again.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, should I have bought it 15 years ago, maybe paid a little more than I would like to have, and just gotten it? And then now that money, it would even out, because
Yeah.
you know, if it came out for sale now, it probably would have be worth more paying for than it was back then. So
When
That's
you
how I
see
look
it,
at it.
buy it. When you see it, buy it.
Yeah,
It's that
see?
simple. Yeah. It's the same like when you go antiquing or whatever, and you
Yeah.
see something you're not sure about it, just grab
get
it.
it.
Just grab it.
you're not overpaying, you're just buying it a little early. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Have you ever been like spooked out using a Ouija board? Have you been like, you know, something just freaked you out and kind of scared you and like, oh shit?
No, I can't say I have. I mean, to me, you know, it's like I said, it's a tool to have a conversation.
Mhm.
And so I don't kind of give it a power that I think a lot of
There you
people kind
go.
of give it.
Yes.
And you know, you mentioned John Zaffis earlier. He's really a guy that put it in perspective for me, because you know, I was at a convention with him, and someone asked him, but how do you know, he's got the haunted collector, takes items that people consider, you know, cursed or evil, negative. And someone asked him, like, well, yeah, how do you take these things and nothing happens to you? And his answer was simple. I don't feed it negativity. I only show it love.
Exactly.
That's exactly.
I don't view the Ouija board as an evil or negative thing. I think it's the intent people put behind it. So nothing has spooked me out. I can say that, you know, people come in to tell me Ouija stories.
Mhm.
And, you know, there's been a few stories that I've heard. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. I wish I was there for that one, or something like that. But as far as creeping me out, no, I can't say I have been.
Yeah, intent is definitely the thing.
Yep.
We always say that. People ask us the same thing, and we were like, you know, listen, if you wake up in the morning and you say you're going to have a bad day, you're going to have a bad day because you
Sure.
just programmed it. You just manifested it. And the same thing with paranormal Ouija boards, things like that. You're going to get you think you're going to be scared, you're going to be afraid. It's just
Exactly.
so cool.
So I do have one more question. I know that you recently had friends of ours. Oh my goodness, Dave and Alora
Oh yeah.
were over there. And they actually did an investigation in the museum.
Yeah.
Have you had any hauntings in the museum?
I've had a lot of investigators come through, and I can
Okay.
tell you that it seems like all of them have told me that they've gotten great results there. So I see things when I'm there. I see people's body language and what they do in the room. So people listening realize that before Ouija boards were in the room, before Lauren had been there to investigate. So it has been known for paranormal activity long before the museum had Ouija boards in there.
Right.
And some of that stuff has been, you know, people's reaction in the room, physical, you know, getting sick, passing out, leaving the room, pins and needles in their head, crushing their sinuses, getting dizzy. Those things have all happened. But the weird thing to me is all of the stuff that happens with electronics, meaning people that take pictures and then later on they undevelop, then they develop again, like they leave, they say it's fine. Later on, it's blurry. So a lot of stuff like that. CNN is filmed and the battery's drained very rapidly. Rolex watches have stopped on certain sides of the room. So there's a lot of weird stuff like that. There's a motion detected camera that never shuts off, so it kind of feels something that whole time. And so that there's a lot of weird things that do happen. And I can't remember if it was David or not, but around the time that they were there, the funny story is I play the Twin Peaks soundtrack. Very much so. Literally, I think the first 5 years, that theme song played 21,000 times in a year. So it plays about, and now it's down to only about 200 times a day because I've added other songs. But one of the groups that came through, they did the EVP recordings. They sent me them back the next day, and they're like, "John, those are some of the clearest recordings we've ever gotten," and I can't believe it, And so they didn't tell me what any of them said. I listened to them, and I was like, "Well, that's pretty clear." So I wrote back and said, "I'm pretty sure I heard what they said, but why don't you tell me what you think they said?" And they wrote back, and it says, "Upgrade the music. Upgrade the music." And I was like, "That's pretty funny," because my friends, it drives them crazy that I only listen to a handful of songs all day long, every day for this many years. So that was just a more recent story. But other EVPs have come back with "Get Out," screaming in it. I had someone come in the museum who first thing they said to me was they heard "Get Out" screaming in their hearing aid. And then in the basement, years later, a kid not associated with the museum whatsoever, he came running up the stairs saying, someone screaming "Get Out" in the basement to him. So that is kind of a reoccurring thing as well. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez. I got to say, this picture that's on there now is the most crystal gazers I've ever seen in my life. I mean,
I actually got a crystal gazer from you, John, for Christmas for him.
Well, then your money helped raise the money for the Helen Peters headstone, because the Talking Board Historical Society found this stash of new old stock boards out in Minnesota, and I bought 117 of them. And
wow.
And so the money we sold them, we tried to keep them cheap. We tried to sell them for about $60 a piece, which now I think we have oddities guys trying to sell them for 300 plus. But we tried to keep them inexpensive so everyone could get one. But the money raised went to put in the headstone towards that headstone for Helen.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
And that's the thing, like prices right now, like on eBay and various like antiques markets and stuff is crazy. I mean, what's the most you've ever seen a board go for?
Well, the most I've ever seen on eBay, I think was around $6,500. Okay. And it was at the time, it was something I think we only knew of 2 of them. I think now we're up to 5, but at the time there was 2 known. And I think what happens is, some collectors have endless amounts of money, which is fine. But I think, like at the museum, I meet a lot of people who come in, they kind of see that back wall where there's, 50 different boards on the wall, and it inspires them. They want a collection. Yeah. And some people want an instant, they want that instant gratification, and they go out and just buy every single board. And then, you realize that, like, shoot, I don't have anything super rare and I won't own them all. And so some people, I think, lose interest, but I think that's where it starts is you're inspired by it, and you want to go out and try to have as many as you can. And you quickly realize that if you start with like a $50, $100 limit, then you're going to blow past that, within 50 boards,
Yeah. And I always tell people, if you're looking for older boards, go to the museum in Salem, go to John's museum, because he has them, you've got them there, and they're reasonable priced, and it's going towards a good cause. So it's like, I mean, it's dangerous every time we go.
I had a witch group from Australia come through recently, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 17 witches, and they had told me they were coming to buy boards. One of them had bought a board for me in the past, and they want old wooden boards. And I said, well, I know this group. If you want the boards, you're going to some people are going to want to touch them. Some people want to know the history of them. Some people need to talk it out, what they believe and how well it would work for them. And so I opened up 2 hours early to kind of get them in and kind of start working with them about it.
That's awesome.
And it was great. I sold, I think, 12 or 15 boards that day.
Oh, wow.
And I made it was really great, but the whole wall was pretty much empty. And I felt I was sad. I'm like, that took me years to acquire. Finding an antique board it's not that easy. If you went to 100 flea markets, you might walk away with a Parker Brothers board. So to find antique wooden boards, from the turn of the century, it takes a long time. And I made them happy, but I was definitely a little sad that I'm like, geez, I don't have a lot of great stuff.
Yeah.
It's always great every time we go.
So I had to go in the back room and pull out stuff back there. That's like, that's when we start talking it out. I'm like, well, hold on, I might have something in the back for you. Yeah. But I do buy a few different collections. I bought 2 collections because there's 1 or 2 boards I wanted that I didn't have, and it was just better for me to make an offer on everything, and then I can resell those boards in the museum. I can upgrade. I actually upgraded my Morton Converse 1920s board. I upgraded recently. So I do that as well. I try to get a better conditioned board if I've had it for a long time. I'm like, you can do better than that. So so that's how I'm able to get these other collections going to resell.
Wow.
Nice.
Now, how many boards would you estimate you have in your collection?
I used to think it was around 1,000 because I'm not a numbers guy, Danny. I'm just not a numbers guy, but I have bins. Like I buy new boards because it's part of the history, and someday it will be rare, but it's nothing that really interests me today. But now with the museum, I do kind of have to tell some of those kind of stories, and so I buy it, but I put it in a bin. I don't really think too much of it, and so I thought I had around 1,000. I have probably a little bit less than that, but like 900, roughly 900.
Nice.
Yeah. And, it could be, a tray that they sell at Target to.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. You never know. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. I was going to say, people that collect records might be able to relate, but like, if you're a record collector, you're the guy that wants to own every colored vinyl, every pressing, every different picture sleeve change. And so I'm like that with boards. So if they change the address, if they change the colors. Yeah. Oh, nice.
My dad.
Yeah.
Collected records.
Yeah.
Collected records. Tons and tons.
Yeah. So it's similar to that.
Yeah. But I'm going to say my favorite, it's actually a replica, but you have the board from Charmed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Big, beautiful
I was
board.
all excited about that.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. It's got the prayer engraved into the back of it, and it looks like a nice big piece of wood, like the trunk of a tree. And the one I have, it's resin. It looks wood, but it's a really nice,
completely like wood.
Yeah, good prop made.
Yeah, excellent prop.
So that's my favorite.
That's your favorite. Huh? That's cool.
It's a really cool board. And with people that know, I mean, that Charmed influenced a lot of people. So many people watch that show, and to have something from that there, usually it surprises a lot of people. And they're like, wait, that's kind of the thing that got me interested in the occult or witchcraft or this or that. And so, yeah, I love that it makes people excited to see.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, Tracy.
And another cool thing about the museum is it's not just boards. I mean, there's historical stuff there as well. I mean, like, give us an example of something that's in the museum that's not a board.
Yeah, so I have quite a bit because your boards. I think people would get kind of bored with seeing the alphabet, on different boards for a long time. Right. So I like the ephemera. I like, I don't think people know, but in the 1920s, there was a dozen songs that were all written about the Ouija, and they weren't recorded. They were only put on sheet music. So they usually have these beautiful covers of a couple using the board with the lyrics inside. I like the magazine covers, like the Norman Rockwell, Saturday Evening Post, Popular Science from the 1920s, all with the Ouija on the cover. In the first case, I have a little saucer, like a teacup saucer. And I don't put really a note next to it. I wait for people to kind of ask me about it. But in 1886, that's when these boards are evolving and coming about, and they're all homemade. And we see Grover Cleveland, the only president to be right in the White House. He's gifted a witch board as a wedding present. And we finally see the first depiction of one in the newspaper. So those stories get picked up by the Associated Press. They get pushed further out. And Charles Kennard in Baltimore, he starts reading those kind of stories. And he's like trying to understand what he's reading. How is this working exactly? And so he has a breadboard next to him. He's having breakfast. And he takes a saucer from his set and he puts it on there. And he just starts playing with how it's moving on the board. And that's kind of the inspiration for how he's thinking the planchette works. And I have one of those saucers from his set. Came directly from his granddaughter, LaVale. And so, you know, there's things that just kind of that tell a different story, that these are real people behind this stuff. It's not just the game maker, that, you know, these people had different beliefs. And certainly, you know, I think that rounds out the story so people can understand a little better about it.
That's cool. And it's like we see here the Saturday Evening Post by Norman Rockwell. I mean, this was a time where like these two people alone in a room was like, oh my God, that was so risque and touching knees, you know, and by using this Ouija board, this talking spirit board, you could do this. You get away with it. You could, you know, I mean, that was a hot, risky date.
Oh, definitely. His legs are controlling her legs on the outside. And you see where his eyes are focused, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
pretty clear why he's into it, you know?
Yeah, and this is, you know, pre-exorcist. So it was, you know, I mean, everyone and their mother had one, you know? I mean, it was just one of those things. It
really was, you know, Blatty, who wrote The Exorcist, you know, that movie was based on a true story. And hey, Raven, it's based on a true story. And so, you know, a lot of people think that what they see on the screen could happen to them, but most people are not aware that the Ouija board wasn't part of the original story that it was based on. So we met Blatty, the writer, at one point and asked him, like, well, why would you put a Ouija board in there? And his answer, number one, was, well, I was looking for what caused the possession. I thought it was a good way to explain how the kid got into mischief. But the Ouija board outsold Monopoly in '67.
Yeah.
So 2 million Ouija boards were sold. So almost every house in America had a Ouija in it. And he thought, what is scarier than something in your house? So that is the reason why it's in The Exorcist. It's in every house.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
well, I mean, I'm looking around our parlor right now, and
they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. We have boards everywhere.
Walls and walls and walls. But we're going to open up the phone lines now. If anyone wants to call in and ask a question or tell their stories, it's 424-666-SICK. That's 7425. 424-666-SICK. Give us a call. Stay on the line, and we'll bring you in. Whatnot. We're going to keep going here. So,
looks like Tracy asked a question. Besides your museum in Salem and the one here in Baltimore, do you plan on opening any more witch board museums?
I do. I haven't really talked about it, but I guess, you know, this is a good time to tell anyone. But Blumhouse, who is famous for, you know, producing horror movies and stuff, Murch has consulted with them on Ouija and Ouija Origin of Evil. They were actually breaking ground at the Stanley Hotel out at Estes Park in Colorado. The Stanley Hotel is the inspiration for The Shining. And they're going to create a museum space and a theater to kind of create like a horror movie capital of the world, so to speak, to have premieres and things. And we're going to be involved with that museum in some way. It's a little too early, but, you know, I don't know if it'll just be a small display or bigger display, but we will definitely be involved with them, having an exhibit with them.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's amazing.
Well, another reason to go out there.
Yeah. We still haven't made it to Baltimore yet, to the other museum. So
no,
yeah, and you haven't been to the 7-Eleven out there either.
Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore. What's 7-Eleven in Baltimore?
So we just 7-Eleven in Baltimore. So back in 1890, when Helen named the board, was a rooming house, and today it's condos with a 7-Eleven on the first floor. And 11 years ago, the TBHS worked with the city. Worked with the mayor's office to celebrate the 125th anniversary of the Ouija. So we actually went to the condo association, asked them if we could have a plaque on the outside of the building. They were like, nope, absolutely not. We don't want weirdos around our building, which is funny because it's Baltimore and they're all weirdos. But the guy that owned the 7-Eleven is on the condo association. He was like, I hate my neighbors. You want to put a plaque up in my store? I'm okay with that. So 529 North Charles Street, Mount Vernon in Baltimore. There's a giant plaque saying this is where the Ouija was named. How it came about and everything.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
in the store.
Cool.
We were there and you didn't take me to that.
You had a rough time just going through the neighborhood by the
yeah, I did.
She's a very sheltered life. And when we went through that area, she was just like, locking the doors wasn't enough. We needed to be in a tank.
Well, it was kind of scary.
Until we crossed the threshold. Then
once we got into the cemetery, it was great.
Yeah.
Cemetery. We can go to Hamden, where the other museum is. Hamden's a great neighborhood to actually walk around. There's cafes and all sorts of like cool little shops to go to. That's a great neighborhood.
That's awesome. We have that's on our list.
Yes.
I saw one question come up where they asked what happened to the boards that Emily Grant Hutchins and Pearl Coran used.
Yes.
So people might not realize this, but these are people that channeled a spirit through the talking board, and the spirit dictated a book back to them. Emily Grant Hutchins said she was communicating with Mark Twain, and the other one was Patience Worth. And funny enough, with the Patience Worth book, Patience dictated a book letter by letter. The scholars read it; they couldn't explain it. Pearl had dropped out of school; she was illiterate. It was written in Old English, so people, how could she have done that? Anyway, so I'm not sure where those boards are, but I can tell you that we're working on something with Emily Grant Hutchins down the road. Something that just came my way the other day, and now it's funny you mentioned that. So at some point we'll have something to announce, but something That's with awesome. Her hopefully sooner than later to be able to acknowledge her.
That's cool. I know.
We just got the 5 different books that were written
from Patience.
For Patience.
Yeah. She was just like, what the hell? I was like, these
weird. Yeah.
They're out there.
It's great that someone knows that story because it's not super well known,
Yeah. Oh, looks like Raven's going to be stopping by
this week.
Excellent. Hey, Raven.
Nice.
Yeah, they always come by. They buy boards and check out stuff. Always bringing people through. I didn't realize that they have a radio show with you here, a podcast with you as well.
Yes, they do. Great show.
Yeah. So, do you have any boards in the museum that have caused you to have second thoughts about taking it in?
Well, I think my answer is not going to be what people might think it is, but there's one board in the museum that I think the positive outweighs the negative, and so I do keep it in the museum. And the positive to the board would be, number one, it's really large. It's 24 by 36 inches. It's like a poster size board. It's from Finland, which again, very rare to find these in other countries. It's in the Finnish alphabet from Finland. And they created it specifically to try to speak to Satan. So, I do have boards that have been created to try to speak to their guardian angel, try to read other people's minds, speak to their past lives. So I like that they made it with an intent to try to speak specifically to Satan. Right. I like that part of the story. The negative, the part that makes me cringe, is the guy that produced it seems to be like a white supremacist guy. And anytime I've mentioned him to someone from Scandinavia, almost everyone goes, "Oh, that guy, he doesn't mean it. It's all just shock, And I'm like, well, I'm using Google Translate to try to read all these things he's writing. And it sounds, to me, it comes across as sincere. But either way, I think he's a pretty trash human. But the board he produced, I think, is worthy of being talked about in a museum setting.
True. Yeah, it's a piece. Yeah. It's without a doubt.
I mean, unfortunately, history is good and bad. And, I don't want to necessarily cherry pick. I want to be able to tell a well-rounded bunch of stories, To me, it's all positive in the sense that, I love Ouija boards, but some things are need a safe space in a museum where you're going to talk about them.
Sometimes you have to separate the artists from the artwork.
Yes.
And it's just, you have to do that. You can't, they're two different things.
Yep.
That's pretty wild. Wow.
Yeah. Danny, as you know, makes amazing Ouija boards.
Oh, yeah.
He won't admit to it, but he does.
It's just fun. I do it for relaxation.
Sure, we'll go with that. But he actually started doing a little bit something different with just a few of the boards, not many of them, but he's been actually putting human cremains encrusted into the boards.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
and
and
shellacking over.
over
So you're
it.
actually using the dead to contact the dead or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. Cool.
I know the first time, because like I get our wood from we have a casket factory in Connecticut, and so we take the hearse, we drive up there, we fill it up.
Nice.
The first time I went up there, they were just like, you're here at a hearse and you're here for wood to make Ouija boards. It's like, yeah. And they're like, okay, yeah, we just want one. I said, okay, you got it. So yeah, now they know when the black hearse rolls in, it's okay, it's not a van, it's the hearse guy.
Oh, yeah, Gwen got her board from you.
Hey,
Oh wow,
cool. Yeah, they're interesting. I mean, even as someone who's skeptical of them, anything's possible. And it's just, they're just cool. They have a history. They have a story. Everyone,
I just think they're pretty.
Yeah, and everyone has some kind of a story in some way, good or bad, to talking boards.
Sure.
Well, before I met Danny, I had one experience with a Ouija board, and I would not touch another board as long as I lived.
Sure.
And now I live in a house filled with them.
Yeah, but your grandmother used to have one.
My grandmother, yeah. And my grandmother's mom, I think my great grandmother actually did the 7 mirrors. She would do stuff through the 7 mirrors. So I come from a long line of.
It was really cool because like her grandmother passed away not too long ago, and she was what, 100 and
almost 104.
Almost 104.
Wow.
And she was, we'd sit down on the couch and she'd tell me about the stories. And she's like, yeah, I just sit there and, we just go around. And she had a good time with it. You know, again, it wasn't demonized then. It was a communication tool, which is the way it should be.
Yeah. And she was probably one of our biggest supporters.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah. Anybody coming in?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Well, I saw Scotty Lums just, he asked, what's the oldest board? And so in the museum is 1890, and that's pre-Ouija. So, only made for a very short time before they got the Ouija name. And it's just a generic witch board. But that was made by Kennard and Bond. I think it's one of only 6 known to exist today. Wow. But as far as the oldest board that the Talking Board Historical Society can date, 1886, I believe, is the year, and it came with the family Bible. So we feel they do writings about it in the Bible. So we feel pretty confident that date. It'd be pretty hard to date most boards homemade before the witch board. A piece of wood from 1886 or 1888, 1890, it's going to look the same.
That's tough.
Handwriting, or car, whatever is on, whatever paint's on there. But this one here, I think we feel pretty confident with the date because of the family Bible.
Oh wow,
that's wild. So, what can you tell us about William Fuld and like his take, and moving the company on, and his tragic death?
Sure, yeah. So William Fuld, I think, arguably is the most synonymous name to Ouija. He certainly made it him and his family made it for close to 70 years, and even when they sold eventually to Parker Brothers, they still kept his name on the box and on the planchette. And so even today, off and on, his name still appears on the box or the board. But he takes over the company by 1897, and he really helps get it into all the households and stuff. But at some point, he used the Ouija, and it told him he should build a second factory. He should prepare for big business, and he interpreted that by building a second factory in Baltimore. He built the factory, and a couple years later, he was supervising the installation of a flagpole on the roof, and he ended up falling off the roof and dying from his injuries. And on his deathbed, he told his family they don't sell Ouija. And we're not really sure what he meant. Don't sell the Ouija board, the Ouija brand. But 39 years to the day, on the anniversary of his death, that's the day the William Fuld family sold to Parker Brothers in Salem. So, he dies, but, again, people always like, oh, he deserved it or this. And I'm like, well, I don't think he deserved it. I mean, he made Ouija super popular, and I don't associate it to the Ouija board. The Ouija board told them to prepare big business. Like, they made a lot of money off of this,
They did.
So I think they did pretty well for themselves all those years. I mean, 70 years to be in business. That's pretty amazing.
That is
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was everywhere. I mean, there was Sears catalogs. You'd go to Sears catalog, and they're in there.
Yeah.
Just everywhere.
Yeah.
Let's see, what does it say?
Uh,
Blue Ghost. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love the Blue Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
That is. So that blue ghost you're referring to on the Ouija box, it appeared from the mid 30s to the mid 70s, both with William Folds family and Parker Brothers in Salem. And the blue ghost is actually based on a sculpture in Graceland Cemetery in Chicago. The name of the sculpture is called Eternal Silence, which I always think is pretty creepy to have on a Ouija board box.
Yeah.
There's some kind of urban legend about if you go to the cemetery, you look into his eyes, you foresee your death. But pretty awesome that's the inspiration of what was on the Ouija board box.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Aren't we going to Ohio? Oh, but we're going to Cleveland,
We're
not
going to Cleveland. Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to Cleveland, I hope you got the Buckland Museum on your list of things to
It
do.
is.
Oh, it is.
It is on the list.
Steven,
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. Yeah.
That in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Nice.
Yes.
Yep.
I'll give you a little tip. Danny, you've played music. I know that.
Yeah.
Bring a CD. You should get in for free.
Really?
Really?
They used to, when I would be in bands and touring, you could bring a CD and tell them you're on tour, give it to them for their archives, and they'd give you free admission. And
Did not know
that would go for 4 members. So you tell them that the other members look up a venue list and see who's playing that night.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, we're this band, we're or whatever. Make up that they don't look it up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've always gotten in there for free by just bringing a CD to them.
Oh, that's cool. We're gonna have to do that.
That's a pretty awesome thing. I mean, pretty cool. They still do that stuff.
It is pretty cool.
Are you making planchettes?
I do from time to time make planchettes. For me, they're my least favorite thing to make, though. Now,
He
again,
gets upset with them.
we'll go back to my favorite board, the Mantic. That one
Oh.
has an amazing planchette.
Yes.
I have yet to get one, but it's so designed where like 4 people can
So,
comfortably.
John, that was a hint.
even if you know someone that can like
Replicate it.
3D print one or
Yeah.
something or whatever. Let me know.
Do you know? I know somebody. We'll talk after.
Okay.
Afterwards.
Okay.
I know somebody.
Yeah, because we have this nice table here. It's perfect size. Put it on it. 4 people around it comfortably, and yeah,
it's almost like a 4-leaf clover.
yeah,
So it's
Yes.
little indentations for your fingertips to go in, but then it has the hole in the center, and which is kind of cool. Most people are used to like the pointed planchette where you look at the hole through there or the tip, but this is because it's like a 4-leaf clover, almost like a CD. You're looking through just the center there.
right.
So don't get mixed up. If you're, with a one with a point, you might get something that's gibberish, doesn't make sense, and you got to look at one of these other.
Some actually have a
Look at 'em
pointer
all.
finger. Some of them, you got an eye.
That's a really old picture of mine. Holy crap! You went deep in the creek here, huh?
I was looking for some variety.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, another thing a lot of people don't know about John Kozik is you're a musician. I mean,
Yes.
you are a very talented person.
Mhm.
I mean, what kind of music do you play?
Currently, I play in a lot of surf and garage bands. So the one band I've been doing for 30 years, it's kind of a really fun project, is the punk band The Misfits. We
Mhm.
take all of their songs and play them as surf instrumentals. So no vocals. I play lead guitar. The melody is there. And,
The crowd does the vocals.
Mhm.
We went to a show. The crowd was doing all the vocals. man.
Exactly.
It
It's
was
like a karaoke.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yes,
And so
it was
that's
awesome.
a really fun band to do. It's, that's why I've just done it so long, because it's so much fun to play live with. But over the years, I've probably played in, 30 bands or so, everything from like noise to garage to hardcore punk, sludge, just about anything I like the people I played with. So, yeah, I still play music now. Don't do it as much as I used to, with the museum. I really love being at the museum all the time. So, to get practices in, to go on tour,
Yeah.
it doesn't excite me like the way it used to, because the museum is what excites me,
Yeah. No, I hear you. What, Lauren?
That's Danny. He still does music. We've been together for 9 years. I've never heard him actually play.
Yeah.
But we have CDs, and I've listened to songs from his old bands, and
I just put out like 4
I
CDs
know.
recently.
Five,
that like I've been
yeah.
working on for the last 6 years that she
Nice.
had no idea.
no clue.
And it's just, I do it for me now. I had two goals. One goal was to play the main stage at the Worcester Palladium, and the other one was to play CBGBs. Did them both, and that was it. I was done.
Cool.
My goals are done.
Mm.
And it kind of miffs her a little bit. She's like, I've never heard you play. It's like, well, maybe someday on the stage.
You get the right combination of people together, they might put you out of retirement. You never know.
Yeah.
There you go. Anybody who's listening.
I'm a lifer. I'll play forever. I just, might not be touring every day. That's all.
You've also a world traveler. I believe you're the only person that I've ever met that's been to Easter Island.
Yeah, I went to Easter Island, I don't know, maybe 16 years ago, somewhere around there. It was epic. Oh,
I can't even imagine.
It was amazing. I don't want to sound like a negative person, because I'm not a negative person. But no sooner did I come back from that trip, literally within 2 months, is when they excavated and went further down, and they realized that in the quarry that the bodies go way further down than just their heads that you see, and that you get the full down of the body. It was like, I didn't get a chance to see that. Which would have been epic. But I went to every platform. We saw, I don't know what there was, 100 or whatever it was, all around the whole island. Just amazing, because you are literally in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only get there from Santiago, Chile, or Tahiti. Those are the only plane routes that go to Easter Island. And it's still like, I don't even know, like 3,000 miles off the coast of Chile or something like that. But yeah, so I was able to go there. Epic trip. Epic.
Oh, I can't even imagine. That's just amazing. I mean, geez. It's on the list.
It's on his list.
It's on the list.
Yeah.
My next Machu Picchu is high on my list of next place to go.
Yeah,
and,
same here.
Yeah, I know our friend Calvin is interested in going, so hopefully at some point we can get a trip together and make it down there. Because that, to me, that's my next big trip.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let me know when you're gonna go.
All right.
That'd be a good time.
All right, I will for sure.
My brother's been trying to get me to go down there. He's like, let's do some ayahuasca. I was like, I don't know if I'm that far yet.
Yeah. You can.
Oh boy.
So back to the Ouija. I want to ask you, like, what is the strangest experience that you've ever heard someone having with a board? Like something that's totally like bizarre.
That was bizarre, but the one story that comes to my mind is, because again, everybody is coming in to tell me Ouija stories. It's just common. I don't want to say I'm desensitized at this point, but like, you kind of hear a lot of the similar stories. And the one great one was this woman came in and she was like, actually she was the daughter, and the daughter was like, my mother said that she knew her husband and my father was cheating on her, and used the Ouija board, and it came up with the address, and they went to the address and they found the husband there. So just like I just think that's cool. You know what I mean?
That
like,
is really cool.
Dang, you can't hide. The Ouija board
can't
will tell
make
on
that
you.
up. I mean, geez. And that's the stuff that makes me think. That's the stuff where like my skepticism is like, oh damn, that's how do you
really?
Yeah, because how do you come?
Okay.
No one can just unless someone knew that. But why would you take the time and Yeah, that's pretty wild.
All right.
Yeah, so we talked about the space earlier, for paranormal activity. And the funny thing is pretty much two of the last times that people came in to use the Ouija were pretty similar stories, where it was like two girls, no one else was in the museum. They're being loud, taking pictures, joking around. They saw I have a Ouija out there for people to use. They pulled it out and they asked, is there a spirit in the room? And the board spelled back quiet. Like, oh shit. They packed it up, they put it away. And like 2 days later, two other girls came in, same scenario, pull out the Ouija board after being loud and joking around. Is there a spirit in the room? And it spelled back stop. They stopped. So pretty interesting. Those are the last two things that I've seen people use the Ouija in the museum.
Yeah, it's
Tell
pretty
me
wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to investigate. I want to do like what I do
Oh,
in the
okay.
museum. I think that would be wild.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, let me know when you're ready to do it. We can set it up.
Yeah, she does some channeling stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
That would be different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Grab a board and kind of see what comes out of it.
And I've never done automatic writing, so that might be the place to give it a shot.
All right.
Yeah.
There's so much energy in that place. Even yeah. Awesome.
I think so. I think my positive energy outweighs anything negative in this space.
Completely.
Oh, completely.
I'm always surprised when people are like, oh, I feel a heaviness and I got to leave the room. Or, I mean, I see it. I mean, no joke that the room kind of does like a little bit of an L shape. And if people see like the couch area, that is the side that is considered more active. But even like recently, I saw someone. I saw someone trying to take a step into that room. Their foot was in the air, and I saw their head get pushed back like someone was pushing them out. And they didn't go into space, but they didn't acknowledge it. And that's not until like later on when I start talking about some of the stories of things that happened in that room that the person, I said, I witnessed your body physically get pushed back, and they didn't even notice that it happened to them. They felt it. They realized it after the fact once I pointed it out, but they didn't realize it at the time. So that's stuff that does happen pretty regularly.
Yeah.
And that's like the area of the museum that I feel the most comfortable in.
Yeah.
So
energy is energy, good and bad. I mean, like one of the first times we witnessed you doing a presentation was at the
oh my gosh.
Yeah, with the
it was the Satanic Temple.
Right.
That's where I met you guys.
Talk about positive energy.
Yeah.
I mean, that place was it was so booming and it was awesome. I mean,
yeah, that's when I met John for the first time. I met Calvin for the first time.
Yeah, because you had
I think Shrek was there too, wasn't he?
Shrek,
Birch was there. Yeah. Birch was there.
March
was there. Yeah, I got to meet y'all, so that was a pretty cool moment.
Yeah,
that was 2017, I think it was.
Sounds
maybe 2018, somewhere around there. And we did the exhibit because we were trying to raise money for the Helen headstone, and I worked with this. It was before I had a museum. And so I worked with the Satanic Temple about doing an exhibit there, and curated a space for them, told the stories. And then I was not a public speaker at that time. And I thought, well, geez, John, you're the treasurer. You should really do your part to raise money. So I said, all right, well, maybe if I do a lecture with Calvin and we split it up, I don't have to worry about my stage fright or being nervous and that kind of thing as bad. And so Calvin and I split a presentation. And if you saw it, you remember I paused. I lost my place. I was like a deer in headlights. It was horrible. It forced me to do it, and then it's just kind of funny that this is what I do now, because back then I could never imagine of talking in front of two people, let alone.
We speak about this a lot. We're like, John has really come into himself. We hear you doing your spiel in there and your talk, your history, and it's like, look at him go, man.
Yeah, you saw the beginning, and that's amazing.
Yeah, but we love actually when you're talking with people who are just in the store, in the museum and stuff, and the way you talk about the boards and you get into it and
their reactions,
and
to your energy, that's the priceless thing when you watch their faces and they're like, because I mean. You just think a Ouija board, but then they're starting to get into history. They're starting to get these legends. They're starting to get all these kinds of information. You can see the lights and the wheels moving inside their heads. And it's like, we can see you having fun with it.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just like, playing along and having a blast. And it's like, I know that feeling. That's so great. I'm so glad for you, man. So happy for you.
Yeah. Thank you. I could never have expected this to be my life at this point. This is all I do. I only have the museums. I don't work a regular day job anymore. It is just talking about Ouija boards all day. And it starts from that presentation at the Satanic Temple and really showing me that it wasn't just me and a few weird people into this stuff, that there are other people interested in this history.
The whole world.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. The Satanic Temple, it was supposed to be a month-long presentation, month-long exhibit. And at the end of the month, they said, "Can we keep it up a little longer?"
Yeah.
Another month, "Can we keep it up a little longer?" It ended
Yeah.
up staying up for 3 months, and
wow.
That's
yeah,
wild.
so it was pretty amazing. It got a great reception there.
Mm.
Yeah.
You actually have one of the posters
Oh, nice.
on the
one
wall.
of the limited prints. Yeah.
Yeah, one of
Yeah.
the prints.
Yeah.
Yeah,
From
Calvin
that
did
night.
that poster,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you ever
Yeah.
saw it or not, but Rick actually took the Norman Rockwell picture.
Yes, we actually have one.
Oh, you have one of those?
Yes.
Oh, dang, amazing. All right.
Him, wait a minute. It's him. No, excuse me. Finish what you're saying about that. Maybe it's not that one.
So Calvin did one with like the planchette and the Baphomet.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Rick actually took the Norman Rockwell picture, Saturday Evening Post, and he did one with a witch and the
The
devil.
goat.
Yeah,
The devil.
goat.
Yes, we do have that
We
one.
do have that. Yep.
Amazing. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We do have
Yeah, so Rick did that.
Yeah, that was again. It was an amazing time.
Yeah.
That was. You were like, what?
I was a little concerned going into there, but
Yeah, but I was like, listen, it's just don't listen to the name. It's just
Yeah.
once you go there, and she was just like, wow.
yeah, it was pretty interesting to hear the history and see all the different boards, and actually have my own little weird story that happened with the board.
Oh, from that show.
Yes. So you had at that showing that you
Exhibit.
did, the exhibit, you had the actual board from Ouija Origins.
Yep.
I watched that movie here in this house with Danny.
Like the night after.
No, it was before that.
Oh, was it before that?
It was before that, and I ended up having a heart attack.
Jeez.
She doesn't do well with horror movies.
No,
We're not blaming the board for that though, right?
No, we're blaming the movie.
no.
Again, now we get into the movies. Guesstimate how many movies are out there with Ouija.
It's including TV shows and stuff, it's over 500.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
most are horror themed. You know, there's horror movies, but I think our total database with like Dennis the Menace and I Love Lucy and shows like that, we're over 500 at this point.
Wow.
Holy moly.
And I know you used to do viewings.
Oh yeah. At the museum in Salem, I have a projector there, a screen that comes down, and so I do horror movie nights there. And I only play horror movies with Ouija boards. That's my shtick. That's what I'm sticking with.
Yeah.
And we've played everything from like spookies to Witch Board, of course. And then the one I don't know if it was the last one I played. One of the last ones I played was Ouija Shark 2. So not a very good movie at all, but
Okay.
people loved it though. Yeah,
Yeah.
great reaction, great tagline. Gonna need a bigger board,
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
but not a great movie.
It
But,
was so bad that it was good.
yeah. I have maybe about 40 or so DVDs on display because the artwork has Ouija. It's got the Ouija in the title. And then the funny thing is as I meet people who are super into horror movies, obviously coming to Salem, they'll ask me for recommendations. And next thing you know, I'm running into the office, pulling back, DVDs of this and be like, you got to see this one. No, this one's a great one. And so I have more in the back than I actually have displayed in the museum.
Ah. I've actually just recently, within the last year, saw a witch board. Actually, after we went the last time, not this past time, but the time before when we went to Salem.
Yeah. You had one of the witch boards out there from the TV, from the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he actually,
And I was like, you got to sit down and watch it. You've never seen
I've
it.
never seen
you
it,
gotta,
so
yeah.
I finally watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one and the second one, and they're two of my favorites. I like that they're a little campy, a little kitschy,
Yeah.
80s, horror movie, kind of what you expect in that way. But they were the movies that made the Ouija board the star of the film. And, Kevin Tenney, who wrote it, gave us progressive entrapment, where the more you use the Ouija board, the slowly it wears you down and can eventually take possession of you. And so again, the movies influence a lot of people. We didn't delve super into it, but I think most people have seen The Exorcist, and that is, again, arguably the biggest movie to put a Ouija in there. But
Yeah.
superstitions that some people believe today, like don't use the Ouija board alone or always say goodbye in the Ouija, those started after the movie. So, you buy the newest Ouija board today, it'll say that as a rule, always say goodbye. But that rule didn't exist prior to The Exorcist.
Oh.
So that's
Very
how,
well.
the movies influence people, whether they know it or not. They never use it alone. during a war is obviously when the Ouija would be most popular. Men are fighting and women looking for answers. Talking to their deceased father, husband, and women used them alone. My grandmother used the Ouija board alone. So that superstition didn't exist until after The Exorcist. But just because that's where it starts doesn't mean it's not true if you believe it. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you believe anything to be true.
Exactly. So it's true if you believe it, and if you believe you're supposed to say goodbye, then obviously say goodbye. I mean, I make a joke. I don't say goodbye to most people I talk to in a day, so I don't believe that. But your peace of mind, and if you believe it, you should do it. Because if you don't, then more than likely the first bad thing that happens, you're now going to associate back to not saying goodbye.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Think of the number 7. You're going to find it everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're having trouble with the phone line. So sorry if you're trying to call in, people. It's my phone. We live in a bad area with.
We call it the dead zone.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I don't get my messages until I leave the house for the next day, and they all come in at once. Yeah. So it's crazy. It's a crazy area. Yeah. So sorry about that, guys. So we're just about done here with the time wise, but we always have a question that we always ask our guests at the very end. It's a little off subject, but Lauren, go ahead.
Okay, so John, you are on death row, and you get your last meal. What are you getting?
Good question. Well, I'm a food guy. And all I do when people come visit Salem is I tell them where to go get what. But if it's me, my last meal, I'm probably going to get fried scallops from Woodman's of Essex. That's where the fried clam was invented. And so the seafood is amazing. I'm probably going to get a peanut butter and fluff donut from Coffee Time. They have peanut butter and jelly donuts, but peanut butter and fluff would be my favorite dessert for it, I think. So I guess that would be my last meal right now. But ask me tomorrow, and I'm going to talk about fluffernutter pie. I'm going to talk about, I'm super obsessed with food, and we could talk quite a bit. This whole show could have been just about food and my obsession and addiction to that. But I'll leave it. I just had the conversation. I mentioned Woodman's to someone today. They were on a road trip from Tennessee, and they said, we went there. We actually just ate there. And I was like, holy crap, everyone, that's amazing. So fried clams or fried scallops from Woodman's.
It's on our list now.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say.
It's on our list now.
We got to go.
Yeah. That's so cool. So how can people get in touch with you or visit the museum or, give us some more information about what you do and where?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm mostly at the Salem location, which is in downtown Salem, 127 Essex Street. And so I would highly suggest you come there if you can, not only get a great, tour of the city, but the museum, hear my stories. I kind of cater it to what you're interested in with the Ouija board. And but if you're not able to make it to Salem, then I have a second location in Baltimore, in Hamden, above an oddity store called Bazaar. They run it for me, so you see them, and I'll get you access upstairs to the museum. If you can't make it, you're from overseas, you're not coming to the country. The website, of course, Instagram, Facebook, the website on SalemWitchBoardMuseum.com. I just uploaded some of my gallery, some of my boards. So I think I put up about 400 boards up there for you to be able to look at online, some really rare stuff. And then the Talking Board Historical Society, you can find us at tbhs.org and find out more about Helen, find out about the Elijah Bond, Ouijazilla, all the things, the history, whatever we know. We kind of like to tell people about it and there. So those are the best places online, but ideally come visit me in Salem.
Yeah. And there's a lot of, merch you can buy as well. The Talking Board Historical Society shirts and all kinds of,
tote
great
bags.
Stuff. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Yes,
I mean, we could literally go on for days on this, just go on.
It's like when you visit the museum where you guys hang out for hours. So yeah, I'm happy to do it. So have me back part 2 whenever you're ready. I'll come back through and talk some more.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
John.
so much.
It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure. Thank you everybody for the questions, and thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
All right.
So, well, we'll be back in a couple of weeks, right? Because
Yeah, in a couple of
third
weeks.
episode's coming out. We're gonna do this one on a book.
Yes, on a book.
On a book.
On a book.
Haunted Travels.
Haunted Travels.
So we'll see you guys then.
Yes.
And again, John, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
This means the world to
My
us.
pleasure. Good to see you both again, as always.
All right. We'll see you guys later.
All right.